Tell us about that. Who's Emil?
Emil is the inspector of grid.
Yeah.
Now Emil came to me and he started shouting at me
Yeah.
that I must stop the music, but the music wasn't loud. I was just listening to the music so that I can go and clean the car faster. See now, Emil came and he started saying at me,
interview to say what is going
the people mustn't,
Good.
the people mustn't help me.
This is just so unfortunate and completely.
What's this? What?
No, this whole business about Alfred and whatnot, I mean, it's because it's misguided. And that is the biggest thing. That people don't understand just how complicated this whole thing is. And it's so easy to say, yeah, but you mustn't do that. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it doesn't work.
Right.
You see, there's a very narrow interpretation of constitutional rights going on here, which says that from there to there, I will exercise my constitutional rights. What happens outside of fuck that?
No.
The fact that the exercise of my constitutional rights has a variance with his needs over there, that's irrelevant. In other words, I'm a selfish shit. I don't give a fuck what goes on next door as long as I get what I want over here. And that's the mentality we have here. And especially from stupid people like that.
Did not try.
Well, you're the one who tried to get
No, I haven't tried to do any professor.
We've all got the same name in Holland. Makes it easier. Just would you explain? No, they're all here.
Paint to go back home. I come back this time.
You've got one thing on your mind. You've got one thing on your mind.
But having said that, if you'll allow me, Professor,
Go ahead.
you know what we're missing? It's a very simple word. We're missing leadership. We're missing a Madiba from Musenberg. We had one a few years ago, and we had a lot of internal politics that affected it. We need some good leaders in the village, strong leaders, who frankly won't take bullshit. They're big enough to include everybody, but strong enough to say, now we draw the line, now we do it. And if you don't like it, well, hard luck, this is the way we're going. We don't have that. We have a form of endless, infinite democracy, that everything is always up for discussion all the time, so we never make decisions. And everybody has a right to come along when the board discusses something. You sent this letter, come in, let's confront the issue. If you write us these letters and you say you're concerned, well, fuck it, we'll come in, sit down, and let's talk about it. No, we didn't do it. It didn't happen.
It did happen eventually. It happened at the AGM.
It happened at the AGM, but it never happened during the tenure of the board. And that's the sort of sickness that we have, and we have it now. Is that when somebody stands up and slags off the board, call him and say, what the fuck is your problem? What have we done? Sit down and tell us. Which we don't do. Because we're scared of the face-to-face thing about
But it isn't just scared, it's also practical things. You know, here's a board, and these are all people who actually have full-time jobs. And then they have a meeting, and then I come home from work, and it's 6:30, and then I must go and sit in a meeting, and I must challenge the mid. And so
Yes, I know. I just.
and it just, I mean, really. Whereas what you should, and what they have done finally, is they've put together these quarterly community meetings, and now you can go and you can sit down and have a cup of coffee and say, no, actually for 3 hours. You can sit down, you can raise your
It was
hand.
the first one I've ever seen.
Yes, that's the first one. You can sit, you can have your conversation, you can engage properly.
But you know, ideally,
That was good, and hopefully that.
I want to say one thing that the mid board has suffered from in mid is this belief in conflict resolution as a hallowed thing in inverted commas with halos around it, spitting celestial fire. What it means is actually no conflict. We smother conflict. Fuck, we don't ever want controversy or conflict.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing to have. And so I've just dealt a long email to the councillor who wants to mediate. So I said, how about sometime you take a bloody stand about something instead of eternally fucking will mediate. We don't need more mediation. We need somebody to have some balls in this community.
Yeah.
Which I think to him will fall on deaf ears. But in order for us to have conflict resolution, we must have conflict. We must allow it to come out. And we must fight it. I use the word fight, but we must, in a sense, slug it out.
You must confront and engage.
Yeah, confront and engage. And let's talk about this thing. So it's not just a screaming match about Alfred.
Sure.
Is Alfred allowed or isn't he? I don't dislike Alfred. In fact, I used to be a great friend of his, and the only time I stopped being too friendly was when he walked around with a whole lot of criminals, who I know are criminals. And it concerns me. If Alfred just said it's me and I'm trying to do, there's a guy who runs a car wash in the Checker
Yeah.
Centre. Why is he not working there? And there was open drug dealing, there was noise, there was crime, everything. And that was a different milieu from what we have now. It was fairly easy to resolve that. You just got in and through a lot of effort got those people out. It's different now because it's exactly as Mark said. This is the have suburb. Although we have less here than there, nevertheless we have.
Yeah.
And across Prince George Drive is the have-not suburb. And I think it's very difficult to look at Muizenberg in isolation and say, it's just look at it in isolation from what goes on there. And that does give us challenges. You know, my mandate, as I interpret it, is to, well, that's also complicated now, is to keep the village clean. And so when I do that, people consider me to be this heartless, racist, xenophobe, implacably anti-vagrant, anti-street child, which I'm not. The problem is we get in a village like this, we get a little handful of problem people who come in. They really are problem children. We know who they are. Mostly they have criminal records. Mostly the intentions here are in some sense to seek work, but by and large to get an income without actually having to apply themselves. But then we get a lot of really indigent people who come from across the way. They come and pick in the bins. We get to in the rubbish bins. You know, the weirdest thing was, and this is sort of describes the mentality of some people in Muizenberg. They said, don't put your bins out the night before, because the bin pickers come at night and they make a noise. Rather put them out the morning just before the trucks come. So somebody said, but how will the guys eat then? So in his mentality, it was okay for him to put his bin out so that a vagrant, or not a vagrant, these people are not vagrants, they have houses across the road, they come here, could eat rotting garbage. That was his idea of charity for an indigent person, which to me was nauseating. But on the other hand, how do we resolve the conflict? There are these poor people, they do come here, what do we do about it? And that still goes on, but they are not, to my mind, the problem. They're not there. I mean, I know these street kids, a lot of them come to the beachfront, and they're sweet little children, they're indigent. I've just bought loaves of bread for 2 people near where I live. Sweet little kids, you ask them, where's your mom? Mom's at home. Has she got a job? No. She's poor. Yes. Does she drink? No. But I'm hungry.
I don't know if she have a grudge against me or what. But I don't have anything against nobody here. I try to ask for forgiveness what I did. See, my brother, but if they're not gonna support me or encourage me just to get a strength to face them, how can I?
Sure.
It's not easy, my brother.